No James Harden and Joel Embiid. Tyrese Maxey dominates, and Jaden Springer puts on the show. We'll talk about that more and next on Locked On 76ers.
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello, I'm your host, Keith Pompey. Thanks for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. So the 76ers opened up the preseason tonight. They had their first preseason game against the Boston Celtics, and they lost 114 to 106. Now, the thing about preseason games is, especially the first one, the first and the last one are ones that you really don't put a lot of stock into, or actually don't put any stock into any preseason game when it comes down to like wins and losses. But a lot of times what you do is you look at these games to just see how, players play individually, right? You want to see who stands out to you, who stood out to you, and some other things. Now, the thing is that this today, and it's something that we always going to talk about is Joel Embiid didn't play in the preseason opener, nor did James Harden. Okay, Furkan Korkmaz didn't play, and also didn't DeAnthony Melton. Now, what Nick Nurse is saying is that he had two guys they're trying to ramp up their conditioning. One is, of course, Joel. Now, let's just say this is Joel's third consecutive season that Joel didn't play in a preseason opener. The other person is James. Now, James made his first played in his first scrimmage on Saturday, right? With that being said, you kind of knew that he probably wasn't going to play on Sunday. However, we all know that James is asked and requested a trade. So there's a lot of thought going out that, well, maybe he didn't play because they're going to trade him, right? Maybe this, maybe that. Now, the thing is, it could have been James doing that he didn't want to play. But if I'm the Sixers, and I understand what people are saying, but the Sixers want to get more out of James. I mean, more meaning they want a team to raise the stakes. So the best thing for you to do that is to act as if you're not trying to trade James. So you have James play, you have James do a lot of other things, right? That's the best thing. But, right now, you look at it, I'm not feeding too much into Joel Embiid not playing. I'm not, feeding too much into James not playing. I think James does need to get in the shape and conditioning. But I do feel as if that maybe early on, James didn't want to scrimmage. Now, they saying that he did. They saying that they want to get him out there, this and that. But, I just feel like I'm not really, feeding into this. Now, the thing is, with Furkan, he has a leg strain, right? Nick Nurse doesn't say what it is. And I joked with him and said, you've been in Toronto too long, because he's giving these hockey injury updates, like a leg strain. Furk wasn't in the locker room, so I didn't see him. But the thing is, when you look at Furkan, you want to say to yourself, like, yo, bruh, you might want to try to handle this, because as they said, Furkan did look good this week in training camp. He's been doing a lot of things. So you would hate for him to suffer an injury right now, because, this is a good time for him to battle for a rotation spot, right? it will be a great time for him to battle for a rotation spot. DeAnthony Melton, they say they've been a little overworked. You look at Melt, Melt's a guy with James being out. He's battling for that second guard spot. He was getting a lot of reps there, like in the backcourt with him and Tyrese Maxey. So it's one of those things where you look and you say, okay, give him a day off. He didn't look, he was in the locker room laughing and joking. So you get the gist that it's nothing serious with him. And it is true that just want to get him, that day off, right? So, that's where we are. And in regards to the James situation, is nothing changed. And it's kind of like, yes, he still wants to be traded. It's kind of like the Sixers are saying they're only willing to trade him if they get something that they deem equal value or something to move the needle. They said it would be, paraphrasing, it would be stupid, basically, of them to get rid of him and not get something back in return that they deem as like equal value. So you understand that. But, it was this game, the game in itself, it showed some bright spots. There were some low lights. The thing that really stood out to me was the ball movement and how guys were so involved. Now, everyone talked about it all week about how Nick Nurse gets everyone involved. But I'm telling y'all, there was a play in particular where PJ Tucker brought the ball up the court. They were posting Tobias Harris up. Patrick Beverley was running the point. They're playing well. I mean, a lot of guys got touches. They all felt like a part of the game. And, this is something to pay attention to. It really is. And it's one of those things where you look at it and you hope that guys don't abort it. And, whereas guys get a little frustrated and start saying like, nah, we ain't going to do this. We ain't going to do that. They want to go back to the way they used to play. But, you got to get Maxey more involved. You have to get Tobias involved. You have to let PJ Tucker get his touches to make him feel like he's involved, right? So, I get it. Joel Embiid is the best player in the league last year. He was the MVP, 2-time scoring champion. But I think that getting all these other guys to feel like they are a part of the team is going to help the Sixers. And we saw some of that, Sunday night. And if they can keep that up, I think that they're going to be a pretty good team. I really do. Now, again, are they going to be better? Do I think that they'll be better than the Milwaukee Bucks or the Milwaukee Bucks or the Boston Celtics? No, I don't. But I think they'll be solid. So I shouldn't say pretty good. I think they'll be a solid team, decent team. Let me talk to y'all about Gametime. You shouldn't have to worry when you're buying tickets for your next big event. Gametime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, view from your seat, and their best price guaranteed. Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. It really does. I'm telling you, I'm trying to get a ticket for my daughter to go to a game with one of her friends once, and we went to Gametime, and we made it work out. We basically did. Again, they were accompanied by an adult, of course, but went there. We made it work out, and that's all you need to do. I'm telling you, last minute. I love Gametime. Now, there's other brands that I used to go to, but once I used Gametime, I was hooked. Why? Because it takes the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA. LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Now, I want to talk to y'all about Tyrese Maxey. I mean, Tyrese Maxey was balling. I'm serious. The guy was balling tonight. Tyrese Maxey ended up with 24 points on 9 for 17 shooting. He made 3 3-pointers. He won a perfect 3 for 3 from the foul line. He had 4 rebounds, 4 assists, right? He had 1 steal, and he had a block, right? Now, the thing about it is Tyrese, I'm going to be honest with you, there were, in the first half, Tyrese was unstoppable, basically in the first quarter, right? You look at what Tyrese had in the first half, 19 of his points came in the first half, right? On 7 for 11 shooting. But when you look at what he did in the first quarter, Tyrese, he had, I believe, let me make sure I get this right because I don't want to mess it up. But I believe he had 13 of his points in the first quarter on 4 for 6 shooting. He was 2 for 4 on threes. Now, when you look at it, you had Jason Tatum, first team All-NBA. Jaylen Brown, All-NBA guard, 13. You had Tobias Harris out there. You had Kristaps Porzingis out there. Look, I'm here to tell you, Tyrese Maxey looked like he was the best player out there. He got to the cup. He was hitting threes. He was shaking and baking people. I mean, they just couldn't stop him at all. And you look at him, and in last preseason, he was solid. But I'm here to tell you, this guy just seems like he keeps elevating. And I know people in Philly, everybody loves him. When you talk about him, they always man, we've seen this before. You hype, you're saying this, you're saying he's taking a step forward, but we already know what he is. Well, he is taking a step forward, because he's more decisive now. It's like he's doing this, but he's doing it over and over again. And I think he's also doing it on big stage. Now, again, this was a preseason game, but it was an ESPN game, right? With that being said, a lot of people were sitting at home and they watched it. Maxey, I feel like he has, even though the people in Philadelphia know what he can do, I think that he has a chance to become the most improved player. Now, again, he stats keep going up each season, and he averaged a lot of points last year. But what I mean is most improved because I think he's going to get the nation's attention this season. And people are going to say he improved. And then they're going to make another step. Now, I'm going to tell you something. There was one thing that I really liked tonight was that Pat Beverley was out there with him, right? So I was expecting to see Maxey do a lot of the ball handling. But as I said before, it was kind of like equal opportunity, this and that. But Pat Bev, I'm telling you, when he had the ball, he got people in the right spots. He was a leader on the floor. He did all those other things. Now, he only had 1 assist when you think about it, comparable to whereas Maxey had 4, Tobias Harris had 3. But I'm telling you, he was setting people up the right way. And the one thing about Pat Bev, he brought it, man. He had 12 points on 5 for 7 shooting. He was 2 for 3 on threes, right? He had the 1 assist. He had 1 rebound. But in 13 minutes, 59 seconds, he was a plus 15, right? He was a game best plus 15. I mean, Pat Bev was out there balling. And to me, I really like the addition. Before, I was a little bit unsure, but I like it because I'm sitting there and I'm seeing how what Pat Beverley is. He's the guy that as long as he's on your team, you love him. If he's on the opposing team, you hate him. But he was going over there, talking to Nick Nurse, knowing what he wanted to do, this and that, relaying messages to his teammates. He was out there leading, really. And the one thing that I saw before the game, that a lot of people don't see, is that what Pat Beverley did is when he went to Chapel, he had the young guys, the rookies walking with him, taking up. It's kind of like they follow his lead. And I like that. I really do. I really like that a lot when I see that out of a guy. So, I got to give props to Pat Bev for what he did tonight. He really played well, and he also displayed a lot, a lot of leadership. He had a lot of leadership. Let's talk about Chase Medical, right? In the Chase case. The Chase case provides 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use. All it takes to get a Chase case is fill out a simple online form, and in some instances, jump on a quick call with one of our board-certified physicians. Get ongoing care from our physicians on any treatment related, doctor created, doctor recommended, right? Don't be caught unprepared. Everyone should be empowered to care for themselves and their loved ones during the unexpected. Jace handles everything from online evaluation to licensed pharmacy, medication, delivery, and ongoing consultant care, right? That's what y'all need to do. So look, this is what y'all really need to do. To get $20 off on these life-saving antibiotics today from Jace Medical by using my code LOCKEDON at checkout on jacemedical.com. That's JASE medical.com. Get $20 off on life-saving antibiotics today from Jace Medical by using my code locked on at checkout on jacemedical.com. That's JASE medical.com. Now, the star of the game, in my opinion, was Jaden Springer. I'm telling y'all, we talked about how Maxey was unstoppable, and at times he looked really good. I mean, ain't nobody could do anything to him. Let me tell you this, man. Jaden Springer was out here dunking on dudes. Jaden Springer was out here raining threes. Jaden Springer was out here stealing the ball from people. Jaden Springer was out here blocking shots, the brother, right? So when you look at Jaden had a heck of a game. I'm telling you, a heck of a game. Now, Jaden Springer finished with 14 points on 5 for 7 shooting. He was 2 for 2 on threes. He had 5 rebounds. He had 2 assists. He had 1 steal, and he had a block. Now, it's weird because they gave him 2 steals at one particular time, but now on the official book, they have him with 1 steal. So I don't understand that one. Like maybe they went back and looked at it, but he had 2 steals according to the official. I mean, this is the official book, but according to the book that was going on during the game, right? But I'm telling you, this guy is showing you what he can do. It got to a point. Nick Nurse started him in the second half. PJ Tucker was only supposed to play 12 minutes, and that's it. He played 12-11 in the first half. So, he got the rest in the second. Now, he was going to get the rest in the second no matter what, but they only wanted him to play 12. And I'm telling you, Jaden Springer looks like somebody who can help the Sixers out this year. Now, again, it was a preseason game, but the dude blocked Jason Tatum's dunk attempt. The dude was dunking on people. The dude was hitting threes. Like I said, he played a phenomenal game. He was good. He looked like he was a dog. He had that dog in him, that straight dog in him. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Jaden can do, because I feel like he can fill a void. He can be a defensive specialist for him, or a 3-and-D, so to speak. He brings that energy. He brought it off the bench. It's going to be big things for Jaden this year. And what I mean by big things, I'm not saying like I'm talking about Maxey and he could be most improved, or I'm talking about like just scoring a lot of points. I'm talking about coming in and having a key role for the Sixers. The guy looked like he got stronger, bulked up. I mean, he's still a young dude, right? So in his third year. So I feel like he can have a role as a quality as a quality guy off the bench. He's 21. He's 21 years of age, going into his third year. So big ups to him, and big up for Maxey. Now the big thing is we'll see if Joel and James Harden plays in the next preseason game, which is going to be Wednesday night against the Celtics. It's crazy because that's going to be the Sixers' second preseason game, and it's going to be the Celtics' third. They have a preseason game in Boston tomorrow. But look, I want to thank you guys for listening to the podcast. I hope you guys have a blessed day. Now, I want you guys to know that you can get this podcast wherever you get your podcast at. It's free and available. And also, you could go to our YouTube channel, Locked On 76ers YouTube, and watch us. And when you do that, click on the Liberty Bell and make sure you like us, right? When you click on the Liberty Bell, you become a new subscriber. And then also, what happens is you get notified when the next podcast comes out. All right. But thank you and have a blessed day.